Who do you guys think is the best team in the ACC? In this video, we're going to be going over the Composite Power Ratings for all 14 ACC teams coming out of the preseason. This is the average rating of all 27 analytical gurus, including ESPN, FPI, S&P+, Jeff Sagarin, and the Kenneth Massey ratings. We're going to start at the bottom and all the way to the top, guys. Starting at the bottom, I'm going to start with Boston College. This team went 3-9 last year. They're ranked 98th nationally. They have one of the easiest Power 5 strength of schedules in the country. They're 67th in returning production. Not much to say about the Eagles. They've been pretty bad for the better part of a decade. Haven't made it to many bowl games. Really haven't done much since the 2018 squad was pretty decent and ranked at one point. But Boston College is dead last preseason power rating in the ACC. Next is Virginia Tech. One of two teams that had an incomplete season next to Virginia as well. They went 3-8, haven't been the same ever in the ACC since the early 2010s. They're nationally ranked 89th, 55th strength of schedule. They are 42nd in returning production. Not much else to say about the Hokies, ranked 13th in the ACC. Next is Virginia. Again, they went 3-7 last year. Went through one of the worst things you could ever have as a team. They had a massacre of, I think, 3 players died along with some other students on campus. Absolutely tragic. They had to cancel the rest of their season. But Virginia comes back, see if they can rebound. But all the gurus do not think that Virginia will rebound much. They're ranked 12th, ranked 87th nationally, 40th in strength of schedule, but they have 114th rated returning production, including the loss of their quarterback Armstrong. So Virginia does not look like they're going to have yet. They look like they're going to have yet another very unproductive and unsuccessful season. Georgia Tech, a team that's been victim of a very difficult strength of schedule for the better part of the last 6 years, having to play Clemson and Georgia every single year, along with the harder teams in their division as well. They finished 5-7 last year, had the upset over Pittsburgh. And they ranked 82nd nationally, 43rd strength of schedule, kind of weaker than it has been in previous years. 96th in returning production for the Rambling Wreck. It doesn't look like they're going to have another good year. It looks like they're going to be mediocre to below average at best. Miami, another team just like Texas A&M that was very, very underwhelming last year. Finished 5-7, had that absolutely near program demolishing loss to Middle Tennessee at the beginning of the season. Everything just went wrong for Miami Hurricanes in the first year of Mario Cristobal. It was just bad. And this year they have 56 returning production rank. They're 64th, one of the easier Power 5 schedules. They're ranked 66 nationally. See if Miami can turn it around. They seem to have a little better promise, but they'll have to get at least a bowl eligibility and 6 wins to see if they've made the corner and turn around. If not, then it looks like first years of Mario Cristobal's tenure have been an absolute failure. Number 9, Syracuse, a team that started off 6-0 last year, red hot, and then faltered in 6 of the last 7 games. They lost a lot on their offense. They lost a lot. But on their offensive side, but the defense has a lot returning. As you see, rated 40th in returning production, 57th nationally. I think they had the easiest, or on top 3 easiest strength of schedules for all of Power 5. So let's see if the Syracuse can get above average and get to another 7, maybe even 8-win season in the ACC. Now that divisions are gone, then they don't necessarily have to play Clemson this year. Duke, one of the more underappreciated teams in probably the last 3 years. Duke went 9-4 last year, only the 3rd time they won at least 9 games in 82 years. 82 years this program has won 9 games. They've only got 9 games only 3 times. And last year is one of those 3 times. They have the number 1 most returning production in the entire country. That's right. A team that had one of the easier schedules last year, and again went a quiet 9-4, has the most returning production. But all the power ratings have them at 8th cumulative going into this year. I think week 1, I do believe they host Clemson. Not week 0, week 1. They host Clemson to start off the ACC conference season. Watch out. They could have one of the biggest upsets of the first month if Duke was able to pull out a win over Clemson in week 1. But we'll have to see what happens with Duke this year. Seems to be a lot of promise, but quiet, at least in the power ratings. The national pundits have not given them any love. Again, they have the most returning production, and see if they can capitalize off a Very, very unique and very rare 9-win season for the Blue Devils. Heading into the top half, NC State, a team that started off, I think, got the number 10 last year before Devin Leary got hurt, and then the wheels just fell off. They lost 5. I think they started, I don't know how many games they lost. I think it started 6-0, maybe. I'm not sure exactly. I just know this team was a lot of preseason picks last year to be a dark horse in the CFP chase, and that wasn't even close. This year they're ranked 43rd nationally, 61st strength of schedule, below average returning production. NC State, number 7 ranked in the ACC Power Ratings. North Carolina, a team that went to the ACC Championship game and got absolutely demolished by Clemson last year. They returned Drake May, who's probably one of the top 3 or top 4 highest rated Heisman candidates, and they're probably going to be the number 1 or number 2 overall pick next year in NFL draft. I mean, it doesn't matter what else you're returning production. If you guys got that and you're still ranked 20th, I mean, the offense at least is going to have another really productive year. See if the defense can pick up the slack, as they kind of faltered very, very much down the stretch. I think this team was 9-1 or 8-1 at one point. Then they lost 4 of their last 5 to end the season. Very, very poor finish with the Tar Heels. See if they can get back to the ACC Championship game yet again. Number 5, Wake Forest, one of the more surprising teams. I did not know how this team is rated 5th out of 14 in the ACC, but that just goes to show you how weak and lack of depth the ACC has this year in terms of strength teams. 8-5 last year, 38th nationally, 42nd overall in strength of schedule, and they 101st in returning production. One of the more questionable power rating picks. I'm not sure why they're in the top 5, but guess we'll have to wait and see what happens to Wake Forest going into this year. Top 4, Louisville, another team that is flying under the radar of most people. 8-5, they finished last year. They're ranked 28th nationally this year. They're 78th in the strength of schedule, and they're 92nd in returning production, including the loss of Malik Cunningham. So we'll have to see if Louisville is going to be one of the more surprising teams coming out of the Power 5 this year as one of the dark horses to come out of nowhere and possibly make some noise in the CFP race. Top 3, number 3, Pittsburgh, nationally ranked 26. That just shows how weak the ACC is. If the third best team is rated 26, and I think the SEC had 7 teams in the top 25, man, that just goes to show you how weak the conference is, and who knows how much longer it's going to last. But Pittsburgh, 9-4, coming off a 11-3 ACC championship season. Their strength of schedule is one of the weaker ones, 52nd ranked, but they're ranked 113th in returning production. That means there's only 20 more teams that have less returning production than the Pittsburgh Panthers. But here we are. They're rated 3rd in the preseason Composite Power Ratings out of all the national pundits. So heading into the top 2 teams that are projected to be in the ACC championship game, and for most of these guys, Florida State, number 2, 10-3 last year. They went on a 3-game losing streak in the middle of the season, which kind of knocked them out of any ACC title hopes before they finished off the season really well. They beat LSU in that, which was kind of a lucky win because LSU missed week 1 last year. LSU missed the extra point. They get LSU again. I don't know if that's another neutral site game or if that's at LSU. Either way, that's going to be one of the bigger games of the entire season, let alone week 1. They're rated 16th nationally, 35th in strength of schedule. They're 24th in returning production, pretty high for one Power 5 team, including their quarterback. That's always a good thing. If you have your quarterback returning, then you're always going to be a tough out going into the season. But Florida State's rated number 2, obviously the number 1 team in the ACC this year, but just what everybody's eyes is Clemson. 11-3 last year, the reigning ACC champion. They lost on the Orange Bowl to Tennessee, but Tennessee was a really good team. 8th nationally, 47th in strength of schedule, and 73rd returning production. I'll have to see what happens when Cade Klubnik, I think that's how you say his name, takes over for as primary every down duty, taking over for DJ Uwe, whatever his name is, DJ. He got transferred to Oregon State last year. Let's see what happens with Clemson. They in order to be the man, you got to beat the man, and Clemson's been the man for the better part of since 2015. I mean, it's just they're eons above just about everybody else in the ACC besides Florida State. So as you can see here, Clemson and Florida State, the two best teams. Clemson's the only elite team in the top 10. Florida State is a very good but above average team in the top 20. Pittsburgh and Louisville in the top 30, but then everybody else 38 and below. It's very lackluster. It's very below average conference. It has been since as long as I can remember, since the CFP started. That first year in 2014, conference is really good. Ever since then, it's just gone downhill. Even Duke and Miami, teams that were really surprising in each of their own respects last year, are ranked not even in the top 50. So that is the preseason composite power ratings for the ACC. What do you guys think? Who should be ranked higher? Who should be ranked lower? Who do you think ultimately will win the conference? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button below as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to this channel, Sports Nerd 92. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Can't wait for college football to start.